Hello, my name is Teresa Carabell. I'm the CEO of Achieve Unite, and I'm here for our third edition, right, Angus, of SaaS Channel LinkedIn Live. We have three amazing guests. Angus is going to be an expert today, so introduce yourself, Mr. Angus.
Hi, Teresa. Great to be here again. Great to be co-hosting with you. And we've got some amazing guests today and an awesome topic. So I've been in marketing for more than 20 years and recently indoctrinated into the MSP channel. A little bit of a fun fact about myself. I got the chance to be in Hong Kong for a couple of years to actually bring a new product to Asia. So every other week I was on the road or an airplane flying to Taiwan or India, and it was a lot of fun and a great learning experience.
I love that. Wonderful. Well, Claudia, please introduce yourself. We're so glad to have you today.
Yeah. Hey, Teresa. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here. So my name is Claudia Lee, and I'm at Nutanix, and I own partner marketing, which means all things channel marketing, messaging programs, and also alliances and OEM marketing. So I'm looking forward to geeking out on channel marketing today.
We are
and a fun fact, I'm going to riff off of Angus's fun fact. I love to travel as well, and I had the opportunity to live in Asia for a couple of years for work and for study. But I actually hail from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which everyone is very surprised about. So I'm actually from the Midwest, but I love to travel, and I've had the opportunity to live in a number of continents and cities. So it's been a cool experience for me.
What countries did you live when you were in Asia?
So I lived in Hong Kong as well, Angus, and I lived in Shanghai for a time, and then also a small town in China called Xiamen, and I just took that opportunity to travel all through Asia during that time as well.
Wow, that's wonderful. Which is Asia is having, I understood they were going into more lockdowns, so it's quite challenging right now. So over to you, Mr. Don Jeter.
Hey, Teresa, thanks for having me. Don Jeter, SVP of Marketing for Pax8. Fun fact about me is Pax8 recently expanded into the UK, and we've partnered with Acronis to sponsor an Arsenal pitch day event. I know nothing about soccer or football, so to celebrate, I've grown out a Ted Lasso mustache to show my ignorance for the sport. But yeah, super excited to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, that is terrific. Well, that's great. Well, good. So let's dive in. Today's topic is about channel marketing. We're going to touch on MDF. We're going to touch on digital trends. So let's open up macro. What do you see happening in this channel marketing arena? What are the trends? What do people need to be looking out for? Angus, why don't you start us?
Sure. So I think the channel has been affected just like everybody else with this dramatic change in this event that happened over the past 12 months. So one of the things that I'm certainly seeing is just a tremendous growth in SaaS applications and a dramatic acceleration in digital transformation, which was already happening. So there's something like 11,000 SaaS companies out there now, and about 70% of organizations are saying they're using mostly SaaS at this point. And I still think that there's a big disconnect between SaaS vendors and the channel. There's some SaaS vendors that really get it, and there's some resellers, IT resellers, that really get it, and they're starting to take share and own the market. But outside of Microsoft 365, I think there's some pretty cool, innovative SaaS applications that the channel can take advantage of. So I'm looking forward to seeing that happen.
Wonderful. Yeah, agreed. There's a lot of innovation happening in the tools and the automation space and the applications. All right, Claudia, tell us what you're seeing in your crystal ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the space of channel marketing has seen a lot of the same trends and impacts that all of marketing has, right? I think this past year was a really, in a way, eye-opening experience for all of us as marketers, because we all had to pivot pretty quickly to all things digital, all things virtual, right? The traditional mix of marketing types of activities and events just wasn't possible. And the really positive outcome of that is that we've actually been seeing good results, right? So on our team, in particular when last spring, when COVID started really, unfolding and impacting everybody, we saw a 4x jump in our partner marketing platform. And those types of activity levels have actually held ever since, right? So I think that was a really great experience in a way to make a silver lining out of a challenging situation, that we realized that digital marketing was a very important part of the marketing mix that we had neglected. And then the outcome of that, I've seen a lot more activity within just my network and colleagues, reaching out to me, that it kind of opened all of our eyes to the fact that if we're going to do digital marketing at scale, it just opened up the aperture for all of us as marketers to take a look at our platforms that we're using and making sure that we're providing the right unified experience for partners, as well as ability to collect data and thus result in ROI. And we'll talk about ROI in a second. Absolutely. But those are all connected things that we've seen happening that I think is going to only become more important.
Well, we see 85% of vendors compete on customer experience. With the advent of COVID, we see similar numbers. So as a vendor, you're going to compete on your partner experience as much as you are on your products and solutions.
Absolutely.
All right, over to you, Mr. Jeter. Tell us what you see in your crystal ball.
Yeah, I think to kind of continue on that partner experience, I think, marketing has relied on events in the past a lot to deliver an experience. And a lot of times when you think of the value marketing provides at those events, it's typically kind of an education and enablement, through an education and enablement lens. We're always trying to add value to educate and enable partners to adopt new solutions or, evolve. And I think a big trend you're seeing right now, specifically in the channels kind of around education, you're seeing a lot of consultancies get acquired. And that to me just shows that people are, vendors and distributors are doubling down on that education piece and really trying to own the delivery of education in a new digital format. So we're really invested in trying to bring a really unique experience to the partner through online peer setting, kind of cohort-based learning. And I think that that's not going away. And you look at this across a number of industries. You think of master class, or you think of I think Professor G. Scott Galloway has a courses out there. And I think that that's where I think we see things going. Education, even at the university level, is being disrupted right now. And so if a big investment in education enablement, specifically digital education enablement, is a big trend right now that we're seeing.
That's terrific. And you're participating in a lot of that and leading a number of things, I understand.
We've built, a lot of our value proposition and really brand stories around support, and to us, support's more than, picking up the phone. It's about trying to help, people, our partners become more efficient, learn new technology, adopt new technology. And historically, we did that through events. We did those through, single day or 2-day boot camps or whatever. And this whole pandemic has made, to Claudia's point, everybody adapt quickly and pivot. And so in a way, it made us say, well, we did that for a 1-day, 2-day. What if we stretch that out to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks? What would that look like? So yeah, I think education enablement is definitely a huge trend right now. And if you can deliver an incredible digital experience, that'll be big.
Yes, agreed. Yep. Well, so let's talk about, as a CMO, Angus, what do you see relative to channel marketing? And it's okay to get provocative here. I think it's okay to disagree. So let's get some things out on the table.
Well, I'm looking forward to Dawn's comment here. But on the channel marketing side, one of the areas that I've really focused on in the past and seen some good success is just establishing kind of the baseline around engaging your partners and finding ways to really partner with your partners, and co-branded collateral, co-branded campaigns, I think, are some of the fundamentals that are absolutely required to do that. And if you can establish a good partner value proposition and then build that co-branded collateral and those co-branded campaigns around that, to Dawn's point around enablement, but also supporting them on thought leadership, I think that can go a long way. we had a sell-through campaign at a company I worked for where some of our partners saw a 25% attach rate to an existing product that they were selling. They were able to add this additional product through all their existing customers and do that within 30 days. And it's really satisfying to see an opportunity, understand that partner may have trouble executing on that opportunity, and put a campaign in place that they can essentially click go on and really see the uptake in additional revenue and engagement because of that.
That's terrific. One of the things that we have also seen that we have to be very careful of in this channel marketing arena is I see vendors putting their marketing organization in competition with their partners. So where did the lead get sourced from, right? And I'm not sure that's a good thing, but I'd be curious, Claudia, as you talk about what you're seeing, your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still learning, right? And I don't think we figured this out as an industry as well, right? Like we are sometimes in conflict with our partners, right? And I don't actually come from a channel marketing background originally. I actually started in solutions marketing, and then that evolved into partners because, you want partner technology to work with yours to have a true solution.
Right.
And then that evolved into all things partners for me. So that's a long way of saying we're open to trying to figure this out with partners. We've tried to build a process and a platform where the partner gets to choose, right? There are partners that love our platform and they actually want our teams to be working with them to follow up on the leads. So we enable that. And then there are partners that want to own their own leads, right? So we enable that in the process as well. And then the third piece that we're actually working on from a technology standpoint as well is now to be able to share the leads that Nutanix is getting with our partners as well. That's kind of the end goal that partners would love us to be able to do in an automated, scalable way. And that's actually that third step that we're building now.
There's so much power in that. And if you can find that right balance between, I can pass this lead along to one of the partners that's really investing in our strategy, really engaged in what we're doing. And at my last company, we started doing that because we were 100% channel, so it was quite easy for us to do that. But I can remember just a few examples. One partner said, "This is the first lead you guys have ever brought me in like almost 10 years." And it just changed the whole relationship, right?
Absolutely.
And another partner said, "You got me a city. I've been trying to get into government, and now I have a city as a customer." And then a third example was this one rep. We satisfied with one lead his quota for the whole year. So, I mean, just in terms of engagement and teaming with partners and creating that loyalty, I don't think there's anything more powerful than that.
More powerful.
But it's hard to get it going.
It is hard, yeah. I mean, I've been here in this role for a few years, and I've been at other companies. I talked to colleagues, and what you described, Angus, I can understand why the partners were so delighted, because as a vendor community, we're also trying to figure out the technology to be able to do that easily, right? So yeah, that's kind of the next phase that we're working on in our team.
Absolutely. All right, Don, let's weigh in on your view of MDF, your view of channel marketing leads. Go ahead, give us your opinion. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's interesting because it is super complex. I'm with Claudia. Like, you have all these different CRMs, partners, may have a different technology stack. How do you pass leads? There's channel conflict to navigate. I think MDF, marketing as a whole, the outcome you want is a sale. And I think that one of the things we've heard consistently over the years with PAX 8 is our partners list sales and marketing is typically the top challenge. Especially, in the MSP space, it's pretty consistent. And Angus can attest to this. They say marketing's hard. We don't have a sales team. And so the idea of MDF and funds being passed over to a partner, a lot of them are really capable to allocate those funds and spend really efficiently and use them. But if sales and marketing are a challenge, we're really interested in the idea of how do we skip all of that and just give them a really qualified lead, like more qualified than I clicked on a white paper, or more qualified than I picked up a call, but really trying to deliver a super, super qualified, ready to buy type lead. and guide that lead all the way through the process. And so I don't necessarily have an answer on MDF. We're very interested in kind of the next, version of that, which is like helping our partners really get, sales closed. But to Claudia's point, there's a ton to figure out there, and we've been really intentional about going slow and trying to put a strategy behind it that really, really scales and has the partners, has the partner in mind as we build it. So yeah, that's something that we've been working on.
Well, go ahead, Claudia, please.
Oh, I was gonna say, I love that you guys are questioning the status quo. Like, does everything need to be MDF, right? I mean, that's a great point. Ultimately, if you're passing a qualified lead, that's even more valuable than funding to execute something that eventually might become leads, right? So yeah, I mean, I would love to learn from what you guys are doing too, because we're also just trying to rethink MDF and say, hey, we're doing traditional MDF. There's things that are working, things that are not working, but eventually can we get to a point where you don't really need MDF in all these use cases? Can we make MDF more like an invisible tool, right? That just enables what you want to do.
Yeah, the easier we can make it. I mean, I think that when you pass over, it's almost a burden sometimes, I think, also for the partner to be like, how am I going to use all this MDF? What do I do? I need help with this MDF. And really MDF should just lead to sales. Like that's the outcome you want. So if you can take some of that heavy lifting off the partner and almost have it be, just an always on type thing for them with really qualified leads coming in, that's a challenge, but that's something that we're trying to figure out.
I think it's really interesting what you're both talking about because I got into the world of MDF, so I'm like, okay, I have to do MDF. It's just what's expected, right? And I was really scared about, frankly, using MDF because it's how do you measure it? How do you make sure that you're going to get any kind of return? And it's just like handing out cash. But what we did, which was very sort of basic, but it did work, was joint events where we would both put in an equal amount for the event. And we had this one series, I think I got the idea from somebody else in the channel, which was around security to not hire, but bring in somebody from the FBI because the FBI is doing all this outreach. And you'd get 50 to 60 people at a time coming in just because they'd hear the FBI speaking about, cybersecurity threat and how it affected the channel and all the security growth. But you're both talking about this is a different world now. How we go from events to digital, and how do we talk about MDF and using your words, Claudio, being invisible and facilitating, new logo or lead acquisition for the partner. That's really interesting.
And MDF being, we often call it PDF, right? Partner development, GDF, growth development, right? BDF. How is it not only about marketing, it's about anything that helps that partner drive growth in their business is really important. So Don, actually all of you, why don't we do this? What's one unique thing you've either seen a vendor or you've done yourself that you thought was really great and successful for a partner? Something really unique that you haven't talked about already. Angus, I'll put you on the spot.
Sure. I'm going to answer by using something that's not unique, but I feel like we did it better than a lot of places I've seen it, which is the quarterly business review. So this is actually an approach that we worked on together, Teresa, and got this idea from Microsoft, and then you provided the framework for us. But Microsoft talks about, and maybe Don knows a bit about this, looking at 0 to 15% adoption, 15 to 40% adoption, and then more than 40% adoption, and really targeting their cohorts of partners based on that level of adoption. And so we changed our go-to-market around 3 different mechanics. And our QBR process for the 0 to 15 and the 15 to 40 was all about how do we get them to the point where they're 40% adopted, where we have that penetration into the partner. And so the QBR would talk about their business, their priorities, and then we talk about our programs to support their priorities, whether it was growth or risk or cost. And then we'd have a plan on a page, which we'd measure against quarterly, and they would score us. And this would all go into our CRM. So I felt like that, plan on a slide and that scorecard on a slide and that synchronization with the CRM really helped align us with their goals and the programs. We had 5 programs in place to support the execution there. And I really like being able to measure that adoption as the key metric.
It's a great example and very leading edge in the simplicity of how you were doing planning and QBRs too. Was really fantastic.
Couldn't have done it without a chief unite. So there you go.
Oh, thank you very much. We just did one. I'll just do a quick one. We did one. Many of you know how important leadership is to me. And we did an MDF-able program around leadership, and it was pretty transformational for both the vendor and the partners who participated. And is driving growth in all of those partners. So how do we provide value beyond just the products and the services, and sustainability and diversity, equity and inclusion and real leadership, and some of these arenas that we might not historically think of. So that's mine. Let's see who wants to go next with their innovation idea, Claudia or Don?
Oh yeah, I'll mention. This is another vendor, but one that I think is really relevant for what we're seeing in trends. And this isn't necessarily a partner value, but I have been really impressed or just fascinated with how a brand called Wasabi's positioning themselves. I think hot cloud storage. I think that we've seen the market really shift. We're kind of in this attention economy. You see people are responding now to memes. Memes are moving markets. Truly, right? We're seeing the internet culture start to really influence behavior. And I think that, Wasabi's done a really interesting job and a really good job of making taking a consumer approach. And they seem approachable and they seem human. And their Migrate with Nate campaign, I thought, was really attention grabbing and clever and cool. And I think that this is a trend that we're going to see where the traditional B2B approach is aging really rapidly as we're all online now more than ever. And I think that the winning brands will really transform into more of a consumer style brand and take more consumer tactics. And I think Wasabi has been kind of a leader in that space, in the channel, in our space where we play. I just think that they're really innovative with their tone and their creative. And that's been something that I've just been watching and really applaud that team for taking risks too. That's something that I've seen recently that I thought was just really, really cool, and I think it gets partners' attention too. And they're playing, they're going up against like an Amazon, which is a Goliath. And they've done a really good job of kind of a us versus them type marketing. And I thought it was really, really effective. And I really applaud that team.
That's fantastic. Yeah, so the images that came to my mind are David and Goliath, gaming, Fortnite, Call of Duty, all these new, young generations game. All right, Claudia, tell us yours.
I think
a gaming company.
This conversation is kind of leading me to mention something that I don't know that any of us are doing well yet, but I know we're all working towards, and that's the fact that, as Angus first started the conversation, that everything is moving to as a service, everything is moving to subscription, and it kind of ties into what Don was saying about competencies and really thinking differently about enablement. So I guess my what I would put out there is that what a lot of us are working on is really getting to a point where we're actually marketing and nurturing partners through the customer lifecycle and thinking beyond that first transaction. Because as an industry, a lot of our marketing has been really around incentivizing our partners to help us land new accounts, right? And then you don't hear from us until it's time to, drive more leads and close more deals. So it's something that we're all working on and evolving how we think about marketing with our partners and to our partners. It's really that whole life cycle view of things, because how how customers are spending is changing, and therefore how we need to enable our partners is changing.
That's fantastic. It's true. It's the whole, I love the whole life cycle. All right, last question before we wind up today. The last question is, if you want to give one piece of advice to the vendor community, to the SaaS companies out there, what is your one piece of advice around channel marketing? And in your case, Don, MDF. Go ahead, Claudia. Or Don, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty simple. It's not like there's one thing we all do, but one thing that I learned along the way is that I would take a look at your platforms. So the rest of marketing, right? There's so much money spent on marketing tools. And I feel like channel marketing has actually been underserved for some time. And I think that the channel marketing leaders of today and the future are really thinking through that everything starts with data and the partner experience. And the more you can unify that, the more you can have your data in one place, the more you can have your partners all having a unified experience. So for our team, we've really spent the last few years just thinking through the platforms and our strategy. It's almost like we've actually learned a lot along the way, because I almost feel like I understand Nutanix customers a little bit better now, because our customers are buying our technology that has to work within an ecosystem of other technologies to accomplish what they're trying to do. And it's so obvious, but it was like an epiphany in my head when I realized, hey, that's what we're trying to do with our channel marketing platform stack, right? Like, you know, how do we configure the fewest amount of technologies in a way that they're all talking together, that ultimately present a very unified, beautiful experience for our partners?
Fantastic.
So I would say look at your platforms, think about what your approach is with your platforms.
Wonderful. Don.
I think my advice would be, you know, something that we've been really intentional about at Pax8, which is really investing in community and community building. If you look at the best brands on the planet are so much more than a product, right? And you can look at all the great things, right? Apple sells computers, but they also sell creativity. The sense that, hey, if you have an Apple, you're really creative. You know, Tesla, you know, there's a huge community around Tesla. It's almost like a personality, if you're right. And same with like Peloton. They sell a bike, but really the product is this community that's around this bike, and this sense of you have membership into this, you know, health-oriented lifestyle community. And so I think if you can, you know, from a marketing perspective, it's really your job to help build that and to create the conditions for a community to grow. And you do that through, you have to add value, and you have to create an environment where peers can learn from each other, and it's not you marketing. I think what it was brilliant what you just said, Claudia. Historically, it's like, hey, marketing is like, here's a feature, here's a function, buy this product, be successful. I think it's completely changed now, and community is the most valuable asset of an organization. And we've really invested in that, and we've done it through education enablement in a very digital way. So that would be my advice, is really double down on community.
I love that. And 75%, in some cases 80% of the sale is done before someone ever talks to another human being. So community and digital, and the importance of cross-training our marketers and our sellers and our strategy folks. You know, I think there's a big skill development thing here as we talk. Okay, Mr. Angus, take us home with the last one. What is your advice to everyone?
I love Claudia's about platform, because there's so many out there today. I mean, there's so many apps out there. It's just so complicated to work with all the tech. And I love Dawn's about community, because we do want to feel part of something. I think I'll go back to what we were talking about earlier. And how do you, as a company serving your channel, your resellers, provide leads or help on the marketing side that much more easily for your partner base, and make it something that's special and unique to you, something that represents your brand and your go-to-market and your value proposition that somebody else or another vendor can't do as well.
Absolutely. And that's my business partner behind me there. So we're going to wind up for the day. I loved platform, community, lead generation, and cross-training skills. So those are our 4. And any one final comment from any of you? Floor is open.
I would just say this is an exciting area. I mean, there's a lot of change and innovation that I see talking to colleagues, and it's really great to learn from others in the industry. So, yep.
I think
really
marketing is more important than ever. You all are the life of companies, so it's quite exciting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation, and I think just because, Dawn, at Pax8, you guys are so focused on community, I really thought it was interesting how you've moved to that sort of online sort of extended learning, cohort peer-based type of thought leadership and education experience. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just a continuation of what we've been doing in the field. And I mean, it really builds on the success that the team has had in the field with partners. And that's very peer-to-peer. Like that peer-to-peer event is very powerful, and trying to bring that online has been a challenge, but we're really invested in that. And that's through that Pax8 Academy, which is a big bet for us. So yeah, thanks, Angus.
Good luck, you all. Thank you so much. You all did a terrific job. And tune in next time. We will be having our 4th in the series. And then we're going to be starting another 4 in the summer and fall around different partner types. So look for more from Angus and I. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.